Now, couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, I've been down. Cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Welcome to another episode of Dad Is Not a Noun. My name is Ishmael, changing the narrative of men of color and fatherhood, as well as changing the narrative on the things I care about. And today, I have a special guest with me today. I'm truly honored to have this guest on. But before I go into my guest, I have a special co-host with me. He is the OG of the Black Fatherhood Movement, the founder of the Real Dads Network, one of the oldest nonprofit organizations where they're dedicated empowering Black fathers, because when we empower Black fathers, we strengthen the community. Derek Phillips, thank you for coming on, sir.
Oh, Ishmael, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Hearing that OG, I never considered myself an OG, but
you are OG. You are OG because a lot of people don't know is that you co-directed and you co-produced one of the first documentary on Black fathers called Real Dads, Black
Men on
Fatherhood. Yes. And so that came out in 2000, which was narrated by the legendary Ozzie Davis. And my guest, I'm truly humbled that he's on with us. He's a very busy man. He got a lot of things going on, but I'm truly honored that he's on with me. He is a world champion boxer. More importantly, he's a father. I have the one and only Marselles Brown. If a lot of people like Brown, what do you mean Brown? Like he is the father of the NBA All-Star Jaylen Brown, and also he has a son with the Raiders. Also, he has other children that's doing phenomenal things. Marselles Brown, thank you for coming on. How you doing, sir?
Blessed. How are you? Glad to be here.
No, thank you for coming on, because the one thing I tell all my guests is that your time is your greatest commodity, and you spending your commodity with me means the world to me. So thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
No, thank you. My first question, because I'm all about mental health, especially when it comes to just men in general, men of color. So my next question to you, how's your heart at this moment?
My heart?
Yes.
I'm good. How's your heart?
My heart is good because I'm talking to you, and then I also have the Real Dads Network, Derek Phillips, with me. So my heart is good. My heart is good.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have a heart. How about that?
That's good with me. That's good with me. I'm good with that. Definitely. And the reason why I'm just blessed to have you on the show because you have children that's doing phenomenal things. You have your son Jaylen, and then you have other kids that's doing phenomenal things. And the one thing that I learned from like watching interviews and watching comments is that the first thing you put on the table is education, the importance of education. Just talk about the importance of education when it comes to just life in general.
Education is entirely, truly important when you're in any business aspect of the world. Because, you know, in my sport, boxing, very few athletes could read. They don't even have high as a ninth grade education. And being that I went to college and I could read, it kind of interfered with my boxing career, so to speak, because I could read the contract. Don King got pissed off and put me on the shelf. He's famous for, I guess, more or less cheating them. And I don't think it's cheating them because they couldn't read the contract and taking their money. So he wasn't taking my money because I could read.
And that's important too. And let's just talk about that importance, because I think that's the one thing too, is that that structure came from your mom and your dad. And just talk about the importance, because you had that family nucleus growing up with your mom and your dad.
Yeah, I grew up with both parents, mom, dad, grandparents, stuff like that. In our community, that's a rarity. And had good education. And and it was important that we went to school and finished. And most of my brothers and sisters went to college, and I later went to college, but at first I was headed toward the Olympics. And I guess me and my dad got into it. I just said, forget the Olympics, and I went to college and got my education. So, and then later I tried to go to boxing, and then I signed a contract with Don King, got the big promotional contract and everything. And I didn't realize it till later in my career. His issue with me was I could read. He called me a smart ass nigga.
Wow.
I didn't get that, but I got it later.
And I think that's important. Just talk about your relationship with your dad, because I think that's the one thing too. Because I know, like, doing some research, your father was a sparring partner for Muhammad Ali, Sonny Lister, and Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
So did that kind of get you into that feeling that I want to do boxing?
No, my dad was he's an ex-Vietnam vet. And his whole idea was we wasn't going to grow up to be slaves. You were going to grow up to be your own boss. I don't want you working for nobody. So that's kind of like his main thing, was to push us into being independent and not work for anyone.
And that's good. And again, that's a good starting point, because when you talk about your career, you were a two sports athlete. You played ball as well as boxing. Derek Phillips, did you have a question?
Yeah, just talking about your dad, in terms of that relationship, how did he really groom you to be the person you are today? What were some of the jewels and things that he told you that really stuck with you, and especially as you had your own children?
Well, my dad wasn't one of those to sit you down and talk to you, because in my age group, talking about certain things was taboo. But I was with my dad a lot of stuff because I'm with him all the time. Going to the gyms, hanging around the gyms with him and Ali, Jimmy Ellis, and all that kind of stuff. So I just picked up things from watching and hearing and learning. And then they would tell me things about his childhood as we were riding in the car or whatever. But my dad was really like militant. He got most of his sternness from the military. Had to be in order. If it wasn't in order, it didn't make sense to him.
So that influenced you in regard to when you had children. Is that stuff that you said as well?
Well, in my opinion, I just believe that one thing, he was right.
Yeah.
He instilled in me to not be a slave, so I instilled in my children to not be slaves. Period.
Yes, that's so important, because a lot of times
He would always tell me every day, be a slave for yourself. I don't get up punching no man's time clock. That's it.
Valuable lessons. Valuable lesson right there.
That was it. It's hard to explain, because as a kid, you're not really understanding what he kind of meant, but it carried over. So as I became an entertainer, I never wanted my kids to box. Like, that's the one thing my dad made me box, because I guess when I was a little kid, I was under my mom a lot, and I guess he thought I was going to be gay, and he wasn't having that. He wasn't having that shit at all. Take your ass over there, you go box. Excuse my language, but that's what he was like. No, that's what you're gonna do right there, and that's what I did. So, that's just where it went.
No, I think that's important too, because it creates that environment to, you carry this thick skin, so anything that comes your way, you can handle it. But in your early days, the reason why your dad molded you so you don't be bullied? Because being in
Pretty
that time
much.
and era you were growing up,
Yeah,
kids
it was
can
a
be
lot of
like,
that. It was a lot of that. I was a track star, boy. Let me tell you. He ain't like none of that. They was jumping, and I'm the biggest kid, right? So they were trying to jump me, rolling. One day he caught me running home, and that was it. No more running in.
No more running. You want to chill.
No more. It was either run. If I ran and he caught me, I'm getting a whooping by him. And I didn't want no whooping by him. No, sir.
And,
No,
and then
sir.
when you start seeing that growth spurt, you went from
Yeah.
6'7" to 7
Yeah.
foot. When did you realize this boxing thing is gonna be
Man, I
reality
didn't
for you?
even realize I was growing like that. My dad never even thought I was going to grow like that. He probably wouldn't even push me to boxing, but he pushed me more to boxing because I was being bullied. And, he wasn't having, he's a big man. My dad's 6'6", 240, wasn't playing. Big muscles everywhere. And he wasn't having that for his son, not me. He didn't let me do it. So a lot of what he taught me, being disciplined, being clean, being godly, just transcended over to me and to my children, period. That's just where I grew up. Being a child psychology major in college, that was my major. Business marketing and business management was my minor. I learned that defeating set behavior is everything from a little kid to you growing up to an adult. So I know once from 0 to 4, kids already have their makeup on how they're going to go. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't let my children grow up to be weed. I had stayed on them. I found out what they like, and I kept them there and kept pushing that.
And I think that's important too, and that's the role of a father, is that you want to push your kids to greatness, to that maximum capacity.
And I would
Derek,
instill what my parents instilled in me. I would instill it in my wife. If she wasn't the one, she wasn't getting no kids by me.
I feel you on that, because and that's the one thing too, is like a lot of people in this generation is that they go by looks, and
Yeah.
what happens is that they lay in the bed and then they're like, oh, now I have a kid, and now it's drama, a lot of drama.
Right.
But Derek, did you have another question?
Yeah. As a boxer, what do you feel like some of your challenges in terms of even just raising children and with a demanding schedule as boxing? And I know that was required a lot of discipline.
It's super hard to be a fighter and a parent.
Yeah.
Because you got to be in boxing more than 8 hours a day, more than 7 days a week, and you're not really making a lot of money until you actually fight. So trying to do that and trying to hold down a marriage and a household was strictly hard. 100%, especially doing my hair and living in the South when you're being discriminated against and racist and dealing with all this stuff outside of the family home. So that was hard on me and my wife's marriage when I had my first 2 children, Jaylen and Quentin. So it was rough. It was very rough. But, I try to manage it as much as possible and try to keep instilled in our family values on, hey, listen, no matter how me and mama got to do what we got to do, I don't want you to grow up having to punch this clock like mama got to punch. You know what I'm saying? I don't want somebody to be able to fire you because you were sick today or you not feeling good today. Be your own boss.
Now, what's some advice that you would even give some young fighters who may be raising a child as well in terms of how to navigate?
I got fighters under my umbrella that I manage and promote right now. And I try to help them to just be better people. I help them, I get these kids that come from poverty situations who never had a dad, and they look up to me as a dad. They call me Pops. And I would never let my kid box. None of them. I taught them the box, but I would never let them do that sport. So when I get these kids that come to me, I tell them to be in the best shape you can be. Don't be in the game. See, boxing has transcended differently than it did when I was fighting. It was a use you, pimp you game.
Yeah.
These days, it has changed. We got the Muhammad Ali law that's in place that help protect fighters. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of laws and regulations. Being an ex-boxing commissioner, because I was a boxing commissioner, I got to see both sides of the tape. You know, so I can help fighters have a successful career and also teach them morals and values, because a lot of them come to me don't have any. So what I learned as a kid from my father, I try to transcend it into other kids. I mentor little kids and young adults all the time, young men all the time. I just left the gym mentoring some kids asking me, so what do I do? Hey man, listen, if you ain't got your mind right and you ain't out here drinking and partying and stuff to help keep your mind strong, leave this game alone, because this game can get you killed.
And I think
One punch from dying and one punch from living.
And I think one of the best advice that I've heard was a long time ago. I had Anthony Mason Jr. on the podcast,
Anthony
and
Mason, I know him.
the advice that his mother gave him was, "Don't let sports use you. Use sport." So just talk about, again, the business and the aspect of, being a dad. You have two sons in sports, of the importance of don't let sports take an advantage of you.
Well, Jaylen, he's super, super smart. So is Quentin. You know, they thought that they was too smart to even do the sports. They didn't think they were going to stay in the sports because they were so smart. I told them, so like when my son Jaylen went from college to the NBA, I told him don't even get an agent. Everybody thought I was crazy. He didn't get an agent. Why you want to get an agent and let them take 10% of your money or 3% of your money, and you don't have a choice on what team you go to? So you about to get him 3% of your money, and he ain't even help you get in on the team. You got on the team yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, wow, that's smart. I wonder how many kids are going to do that after he did that. My son thought I was crazy at first. I said, son, think about it. You don't have a choice. You're going to go in the top 10. They're going to put you on the team. You don't have a choice. You go to the team they want you to go to because you're in the top 10. Yeah, you're in the draft. They're going to send you to the Celtics. Now you're at the Celtics. Now the whole 3-year, 4-year contract that they give you, you're going to get his agent 3% of that money, and he ain't did nothing.
No.
Really? What kind of sense did that make? You're right, Dad. You're right. So when he did it, the NBA ain't like that shit. They ain't like it. Because they prey on mothers. They don't like the fathers. So I'm currently putting together an NBA dads TV show, reality show, because they do a lot for mothers in the NBA. They hardly do nothing for fathers. You can't have the son without the father. There's too many single mothers in the NBA than it is fathers. So my ex-wife was Jaylen's mother. She got the credit of putting this contract together. Only mistake I think she did is she put a couple of year options on his contract, which I'd have negotiated that out. I don't think she did a bad job, but she got credit for being one of the first Black mothers putting together my son's NBA contract. No problem. But however, they did listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Had they did listen more, he'd have signed a better contract, but no problem.
Do you think some of that advice you were given also came from your experience in terms of
dealing with Don King? Damn shit.
Yeah. It's like I've seen this game before.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, it's sometimes it's paying attention,
Yeah.
just being quiet instead of doing all the talking. You can't learn that running your mouth. So if you ever be around Quentin, he took that, like he listened, you know, he'll listen and then he'll go back and analyze it, and then he comes out with his thing. And he sounds so brilliant, so smart. Like, that's what he got. I tell you something, that's what you got to do. Because out here, it's a use you game.
Yeah.
If they giving you 300 million, son, how much they get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely I agree with you because when I think about Nike and Jordan. Like Nike is not where they are without Jordan.
Right. But his mama was smart enough to negotiate his contract on that deal. Yeah.
No, and that's true, and that's very true.
And it goes back to education, reading,
Yeah.
and empowering yourself, you know. So a lot of people get a little lazy in reading, but you gotta read, bro. You gotta read.
I think the most important thing is that you got to read, but you got to apply what you learned. Because
Not only that, but if you don't understand it, get somebody to help you understand it. I was smart enough to take my contract to an attorney. Hey, what is this? What's this clause right here? Oh, every time he give you some expense money, he take it out your purse. What? So that means every time I go to the hotel and he give me food money, that's my money. He taking, you know what I'm saying? Other fighters never do that.
That's the advance.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like,
I'm like, what? I thought he was giving me money. Like, hey, it's cool. But no, that's my money.
It up.
Yeah. They're giving it whatever you need. Whatever you need, son. Go right on here.
My next question to you, my question is to, with kids, kids have different personalities. And so how do you engage with your kids differently? Because the conversation you have with Jaylen is different from your other kids.
Yeah. They're different. I just got good kids. I don't know about other people. You know what I'm saying? Because I know some badass kids out there. I deal with them too, but they don't go nowhere. It's very rarely if any of them make it. But I just had good kids that was paying attention, were very educated, and and then when I left, mom knew to take over how I was putting it down. So she didn't let that change up. So I was just fortunate and blessed that I had a good woman to instill what I was instilling in them, or believed in what I was instilling in them, and kept it going.
That's good. That's good.
That's important.
Now, how would you, in terms of how would your children, what would they say about you as a dad?
I don't know. They say I'm a bully. But my daddy was mean. He was a bully. They say I'm mean.
But we followed what he said.
He said I'm mean, but they did what I said. Yep. Like every time my son give me a little blowback, and then I say, okay, do it your way. They wind up doing it my way, and they always win. I don't know. I just got blessed with that. I'm happy with the decisions they make. Like, for instance, a lot of kids in my were growing up, or they was having kids at a young age. And I didn't want that to happen to my kids, so I would talk to my kids about the sex. Yeah. Supposed to be done with man or woman. Man, here's this video. I put it in there, and the kids, oh my God, jeez. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I put the porno in there, man. Y'all go ahead at that thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, neither one of my boys, neither one of them now, got kids.
Yeah.
My oldest son been with his girl 9 years. They just got engaged, about to get married, no children.
Wow.
I ain't putting no crazy stuff on for them. Just heterosexual, plain, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made the difference, but I figures, hey, it must have worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because when you're a kid, you're embarrassed to talk about it. You got questions about it. Your hormones is going all kind of crazy ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm uncomfortable talking to my kid about it. They're uncomfortable talking to me about it. So guess what? They go out and make the mistake. No,
Right.
it's how it's done, son. That's it. So it's about communication skills. How you communicate to your child may not be how I communicate to mine. I might
Right.
CPS might come pick me up just because I put the video in, but you know what? It worked.
But just talk about your interaction with your daughter, because you do have a daughter. But talk
I
about
do.
that. Okay. Talk about
Oh my God. I'd rather deal with the boys. Them girls.
And how old is your daughter?
I got 4 daughters, 37, 33, 22, 9. And all of them was freaking a mess. All of them. Every last, well, my 9-year-old, she's 9 going on 35. They all think they run me. They all think they run me because I'm different with them than I am. That's mom. She got to raise them. She got to
Right.
teach them how to have morals, and I do too. Now, when the man say this and do that, I tell, hey, I let him know that's the nigga you don't need to be messing with. Right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a guy and I know how I can manipulate girls. So I taught them that. So I know that good in that department. But mom got to instill in them the same thing I'm instilling in my sons to don't be a slave for no one. So one's a model, one's a pediatrician, uh, one owns her own business in hair, and my 9-year-old, she's studying to be an actor. I got her in acting class. So
Wow.
I don't play with that. Like, that's just, when man decided to slave everyone, the whole world, he thought he was being slick. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if we're gonna be a slave, be a good one. If that's what you want to do, be the greatest slave you can be. That's what my daddy told me. That's what I told my kids.
And what I love what you did is that all your children have your name, your name, Marselles.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about why was it significance
That's my
of
legacy. That's me moving on to the next generation. That's all.
that's dope. I like that. I like that. I
I ain't
definitely.
giving only one kid that I gave Marcellus is that's my daughter. Her name is Marselles Brown. Everyone else I just gave them my name is their middle name.
And that's a beautiful thing because it keeps that legacy alive. That
Yeah,
it let people know that you played a major role in influencing their life and their
yeah,
trajectory in life, and let people know to not forget. Daddy was there.
yeah. That's why I did it. So, these mamas these days, boy, when they leave you, they could be mad. Well, when you leave the woman, hey, your mama lied to you. How you think? How you get today? Okay, then I was there.
Derek, you have a question?
In terms of, let's talk about your other children, and
Which
that's the
one?
new Champ Foundation. Because when I hear you speaking about it, you talk about the younger people that are there. What do you want that foundation to be? What do you want that legacy of the new Champ Foundation to be?
Hello?
Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
we're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, I was saying, did you hear my question? Just in
No.
terms of the new Champ Foundation, because I can hear when you speak about it, and I see the work that you do with that when you're speaking about it, and the children that you have there, and how they look up to you as that father figure as well. So what do you want? What do you want your legacy to be with the new Champ Foundation?
Well, I love helping the kids and older people. So when the New Champ Foundation, when struggling athletes who have gotten into bad contracts,
Yeah.
I mentored them out of that contract and help set them on a path to success. So I don't want to see kids get taken advantage of, because there are some bad managers and promoters out there who try to use and manipulate kids. So that's my legacy. I just like to. I'm a giver. I just want to do God's work.
Now, do you have goals in terms of maybe broadening the New Champ Foundation? Because I know you're on the West Coast, and even try to get it to the East Coast or worldwide, or?
I had, I've been working on my promotional company more than my nonprofit, but lately I've been having a lot of nonprofit things come up with me and my son, because he has his nonprofit as well. So we're supposed to sit down after the playoffs this year and talk about how we're going to integrate the two.
Okay.
And so I can start, focusing and, get spearheading my goals and where I'm gonna take that. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out right
now. No, definitely,
because he got
and
tons of money pouring in. He can get in my nonprofit. People get to his nonprofit. So I'm about to link with him to continue doing my work as he's continuing to do his work, but have some of these people fund the stuff I need to get done, like hire lawyers for these athletes who are struggling, you know what I'm saying, and mentors. Some of them need counseling. A lot of these kids just need the mental health aspect of it, being because, every time you get hit in the head is a mild concussion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of kids don't understand that. So counseling them and mentoring them, I have to speak on that. I have to let them know or make them realize, hey, I know this might be fun, but at the same time, you're taking punishment too. I know so many fighters that I've fought with on the U.S. Olympic team and throughout my professional career can't even hold a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And they have way less fights than me. So being that, a dad who didn't want to not be able to function. I mean, they're walking like they're drunk. You know what I'm saying? And then when you're talking to them, you're like, huh? I can't understand you. And they don't even realize that you can't understand them from taking the punches. So it's sad. So, I try to mentor these kids and let them know, hey, there's things you have to do. And reason why I didn't become punch drunk to where you couldn't understand what anything I say is because my father instilled in me, you have to let the body rest.
Yeah.
And you can't let people nudge you back into the ring after you just got out the ring from taking a beating or even getting punched a couple times.
Yeah.
So the body heals itself if you let it, but if you don't give it time to heal itself, that's what happens.
Wow.
And I think it's important that a lot of that the youth need that because they don't have that guidance. And what you're offering with the nonprofit organization that you are putting together and putting out there, that these kids need it, because it's important. I think about Muhammad Ali if he had this, coming up.
They have none of these. They have none of these tools that we got today, like them days. And you say Ali was bad. He had punch drunk and Parkins at the same time. So that made it even worse.
No, definitely. We're in the NBA playoffs now. Your dad, like, just take me in that mindset of being a dad and watching your son in the playoffs. Is it kind
You
of
mean seeing my name go up and down that court? That's the most crazy thing on the planet. That's it for me. That's the biggest. Every time he make history, I'm making history too.
What was your feeling when he got drafted and he said he's in the NBA? When you heard that, what did you?
I was there. I was sitting at the table. He looked at me. And he went to hug me. I said, no, hug mom. He went to hug mom. He hugged me. It was a great feeling that he made. I always know from when he came out the womb, man, that he was going to be great. Because he basketball crazy. OMG. The time he can think or function, all you want to do is play with the little ball. And when he was a kid, that's all I did with him. Shoot little basketball goals, shooting little goals. I know that's what anything that had to do with the ball, he wanted to do it.
Yeah. Right. Because
so as he got older,
I remember one of the interviews, like you put the ball in his hand. You were the first to put the ball in his hand. Just talk about that.
Yeah, I was the first to put the ball in his hand because that's what I know that's what he wanted. He had this little videotape called Airbud. It was a video. You know how kids watch The Lion King, and he didn't give a damn about no Lion King. He wanted to watch this dog that played basketball. My God, that I get sick of watching this movie. I mean, I watched this movie at least a million times. Until he put oatmeal in the VCR and we couldn't play it no more. Yeah, man. Even basketball was him. So guess what? I know it's basketball and I would keep you right there. Yeah, he wasn't even old enough. He wasn't old enough to. I remember I came and picked him up from my parents because he was staying there with them for the summer. And I hated him staying with my parents, but my wife was to do that to irritate me. She thought I was crazy for her. Anyway, I would go pick him up, and I took him to the amusement park. And he couldn't get on no rides. He wanted to get on the roller coaster with all the other kids, but he's too small because he was too short to get on the rides. So I took him to the gym one day with me, and he seen the little kids playing basketball, but he was underage. He wanted to play bad. So I said, okay. I took him to a whole other gym and lied about his age. Got him into the game, man. This boy went bananas. Pigeon-toed. He was super pigeon-toed. Kept tripping over his feet, but he didn't give a damn. He didn't pass the ball there no time. Shooting all the time.
So at what age did you realize he was different? That he was really, this is probably going to be something that he really has a chance on even becoming a professional?
I guess he was around 2.
Wow.
2, yeah. That's when he was trying to play. You know, we got him a little basketball, little thing. He can play in the house. He played it every day, all the time. Non-stop.
Wow. Now, and I want to pose a question to you. You know, going back to the COVID, you know, he had a strong relationship with your dad. He still has a strong relationship with your dad, and he brought your dad to Boston. And your dad was like, "I'm not here just to chill with you. I'm gonna train you." Like just because I read the article.
My dad trained me over. My dad trained me over half of my life, man. For his boxing, he taught me everything I knew about boxing, and you know, I guess my dad kind of misses working with me, and got a chance to work with my son, so they got close. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, all the kids moved out, moved different states. Now mom and dad at home lonely. You know what I'm saying? So he got a chance to take care of my dad. My dad moved to Boston with him. My mom stayed in Atlanta with my sister. And, you know, my dad said, I ain't going to be sitting in the house. I'm going to train you. So that's how that happened. And he went on. Not only would he train him, he was training other kids that's on the Celtics team, too. I was like, what are you doing, Dad? That old stuff don't work no more. He said, I don't care. They love me. Okay. Well, do your thing, Dad. Okay. And everybody got to get a rub down when you get done working. So he would rub them all down. And oh, man, my dad's the best, man.
And I can imagine that put a smile on your face. You're like, that's my dad.
Gave him something to do. I gave him something to do. Yeah, it was cool. I'm like, I say, you don't train them like they're fighters. Why not? They fighting on the basketball court. Dad, They basketball players. They don't need a rub down like that after every or before every game. What are you doing? He's doing his own thing, so whatever.
Definitely, definitely. Um, Mr. Phillips, did you have one more question?
Yeah, in terms of your children, well, I'm going to speak with Jaylen in terms of his advocacy. You know, where does he get that from? I mean, I really love it's not just about basketball with him. It's giving back.
Yeah, he is an entrepreneur, and he got that from me. He and his mom. His mom is very intelligent. You know, like I said, I was trying to be selective in who I put my seed in, and that's just the truth. And she's highly intelligent, and it is transcended over into our son.
Because it's definitely something to be admired. And you can clearly see that it's really about, I play basketball, but that's really not who I am as a person.
I love it. Not only that, so many companies be coming at him trying to, like, I ain't selling no damn gym shoes. All y'all want to do is get black people to sell tennis shoes.
Yeah.
He ain't doing it. I love it. I love it. We're trying to be a transcender. We're a transcender. Start your own trend. Don't be no follower. The world got us plugged in to do whatever this society say we should do is acceptable. No, don't be transcend, man. Start your own legacy.
And going back, starting to your own legacy, this is my last question. Where did the name, the title, More Than a Conqueror, come from?
Church.
My pastor. Break it down.
My pastor. Yeah, More Than a Conqueror. That was my name.
But yeah, break it down. Like, what does that mean, more than a conqueror? Because a lot of people don't know.
I'm more than a conqueror. I mean, it's a biblical term, and I'm just more than a conqueror. I do more. That's what Jaylen is. He's more than a conqueror. Just play basketball. He can do all things through Christ, which strengthens him.
I love that. I love that. I love that. This has been an amazing conversation. But before we end this conversation, I want the founder of the Real Dads Network to talk about Real Dads Week coming up.
So for Real Dads Week, we're kicking off Real Dads Week with our fatherhood and family hike. That's going to be at Bear Mountain Park. That's June 1st. And then on Tuesday, we're doing a fatherhood spoken word, a father's worth in words. That's going to be Tuesday. The date is June 4th. And then on Wednesday, June 5th, we have our basketball clinic and panel discussion. That's going to be in Brooklyn. That's June 8th. And then on Thursday, we have our Real Dads Club meeting. We'll have a speaker there talking about topics related to how fathers can uplift their families and also take care of their health. And then on Saturday, we have our award ceremony, and that will be in Harlem. And we'll also be giving awards away to 2 scholarships, $1,000 scholarship to a high school graduating senior. And then we have some other people that are receiving awards as well. And then we have also some performance and entertainment. So please do not miss out on this event. This will be an extraordinary event as we celebrate 20 years of serving fathers and families. So we look forward to seeing everyone there. Ish, thank you for this evening as well.
No, thank you for jumping on, because I think that's important that people need to know this, because, especially in New York, this is going to be the first year of Father Month, which is huge. A month that's dedicated to dads only in the New York City area, which is a phenomenal thing. And to kick that off is Real Dads Week from June 1st to June 8th. The link will be in the description below, but definitely support the Real Dads Network because they're doing phenomenal things. Because again, when you empower dads, you empower community, you strengthen communities. And that's the one thing for 20 years the Real Dads Network has been doing and will continually doing in the future. And again, I want to thank Derek Phillips for being a part of the podcast, being a co-host. I want to thank Mr. Brown for being transparent and open and telling his truth, because it was an amazing conversation. Again, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And we're out. Peace.
Peace. Thanks, Ish.